Hola amigos! Hi friends, it's Michelle from Apres Preschool Spanish, and I'm going to talk about pronunciation of the Spanish language. But there is a link below to a video. If you haven't looked at it, it's an overview video for the series that this video you're watching is in. They will all tell you about what are some helpful things for me to know about the Spanish language as my child's learning it. Let's get started. There are some things I'd like you to know about the pronunciation guide. The first thing is there's a downloadable pronunciation guide. There's a link to the pronunciation guide down in the description below that you can access. And that's something that you can print off, you can hang up, you can keep it next to you as your child's going over their preschool Spanish video lessons. And it's a quick reference sheet or a cheat sheet that you can use. You may run across somebody who's from Spain, let's say, and then you run across someone who's from Mexico, and they're pronouncing words differently, and one of them is not like my guide. Just know that that's okay. So just like in British and American English, we pronounce words differently many times. The same happens to different parts of the Spanish-speaking world, which is vast. Now that pronunciation guide is pretty long, and you do not have to worry about all those sounds. That's just a comprehensive guide. What we're going to do in this video today is go over all of the sounds that I think are really important for anyone to memorize. And then once you have those, you will eliminate the vast majority of noticeable pronunciation mistakes. And the number of sounds we're going to go over is only 10. So this is really doable. There are three main categories that these sounds are in. The first one is vowels. Luckily, the same vowels that we have in English are in Spanish. A, E, I, O, and U. A is pronounced ah, as in calm, ah. E, okay, here we have a differentiation. In some parts of the Spanish-speaking world is pronounced A-Y, A, as in pay. Other places, I would say mostly Latin America, so the majority of most places that folks in the United States or Canada might be around are going to say E-H. So, either way is fine, but I will probably likely say A-Y because that's how I grew up speaking Spanish, was A-Y. I have found that E-H is more common now in the United States when people speak Spanish. So, either way, A or E. I is pronounced E, as in fee. O is pronounced O-H, as in so. And U is pronounced oo, as in to. So I will have a story for the kiddos that you can look for in the alphabet playlist, and it will go over the sounds of the vowels, and it's just a way for them to remember a story to go with the sounds, and that way they'll retain these sounds better and associate them with letters, especially our older kids who are maybe 4, 5, or 6 who are looking at the videos and they have that letter recognition already. The ones who are 3 and 2, I wouldn't worry about it that much. They may not recognize their letters yet, and that's okay. The second category are unique letters in the Spanish alphabet, and actually, depending on who you ask, they aren't letters. Some who learned Spanish a while back may have had these as letters in their Spanish alphabet, but currently in the Spanish alphabet, most people would say there are only 27 letters. The three letters that I want to go over are the double L, elle, is what we call that letter in Spanish. R, that's the trilled R, R. That is a double R. And then the third one is one that is still in the Spanish alphabet, and that's the ñ. It's the N with the tilde on top of it. The elle is a double L, and it's pronounced like a Y, like chicken, pollo. It's not polo, it's pollo. Always remember, double L is a Y. The other sound, the double R, R, that's called a trill. It's a trilled sound. It's rolling the R. Some do it with their tongue on the roof of their mouth. Spanish speakers, from my experience, will be absolutely forgiving if you do not trill your double R's. Luckily, the double R's still have that sound that they do in English, so you're pretty safe. I add it in because it is something to work towards, or when you hear that trill, you'll realize, oh, it's a double R. And the third unique sound is the letter N, the N with the tilde on top of it. That is pronounced ny, like canyon. C-A-N-Y-O-N. The N-Y is a ny. Same in Spanish, canyon. Ny. A word you might have heard with the N in it is año. That means year. Año would not be ano. And it's just an important distinction to make when you see the N with the tilde on it, to not pronounce it like an N. All right, and the third category that I want to go over are letters that you'll find in the English alphabet, so you might pronounce them like you pronounce them in English when you see them in a Spanish word, but they are very different. Let's start first with H. The H in Spanish is silent. It's not like in English. There is no pronunciation of the letter H. For example, a brother is hermano. A sister is hermana. H is silent. You'll know not to say hermano. Say hermano. Its H is silent. The J in Spanish is pronounced like an H. So, for June, junio. For July, julio. Also, you may have heard some men have the first name Julio. So if you can think about that, that might help you remember that the J is pronounced like an H. Let's take the word son, S-O-N, hijo. You don't say, hi Joe, it's hijo. And that's because the H is silent and the J is pronounced like the H is in English. So, hi Joe, when we look at that in English, we would say hi Joe. When we look at that in Spanish, we should say hijo. I find if you can master these 10 letters, then you will eliminate the majority of the most noticeable errors in Spanish. That's what I wanted to touch upon with pronunciation. Remember, this video is part of a whole series of what are some things that are helpful to know about the Spanish language. You can look down below for that link, and thanks a lot for watching. Adios, amigos.